Imagine losing your income tomorrow. Maybe your employer announces layoffs. Your car suddenly needs an expensive repair. A medical problem keeps you from working. How long could you continue paying your essential bills with the money you have available right now? For many Americans, the answer is not very long. Recent Federal Reserve data found that roughly 4 in 10 adults would not cover a $400 emergency expense entirely with cash or its equivalent. That is why an emergency fund is not optional, it is the foundation supporting everything else in your financial life. In this video, you'll learn how to calculate your emergency fund target, whether you need 3 months or 6, how to build it in manageable stages, and where to keep the money. By the end, you will know your number and have a practical plan for reaching it. An emergency fund is money reserved for necessary, unexpected expenses or a sudden loss of income. Without it, almost every surprise can become a financial crisis. A car repair goes on a credit card. A medical bill turns into debt. A job loss forces you to borrow money or sell investments at the worst possible time. Then you are not only paying for the original emergency, you may also be paying interest for months or years afterward. An emergency fund breaks that cycle. It gives you time to make thoughtful decisions instead of desperate ones. However, this money is not intended for vacations, holiday shopping, routine maintenance, or purchases you simply forgot to plan for. Those are predictable expenses and should have separate savings categories. A true emergency is unexpected, necessary, and urgent. So, why do financial experts typically recommend 3 to 6 months of expenses instead of one fixed amount? Because different households face different levels of financial risk. 3 months may be enough if you have a stable job, work in a resilient industry, have another dependable income in your household, and possess skills that would help you find another job relatively quickly. Consider aiming for 6 months if you are the household's only income earner, are self-employed, receive commissions or irregular income, support several dependents, have ongoing medical needs, or work in an industry where finding a comparable job could take longer. You may also prefer 6 months if having the additional protection would help you sleep better at night. This is not a judgment about how well you manage money. It is simply an honest assessment of your risk. A freelance worker with unpredictable income and a government employee with a stable salary face different circumstances. Their emergency funds should reflect those differences. Now let's calculate your target. Your emergency fund should be based on essential monthly expenses, not everything you currently spend. Start with housing, utilities, basic groceries, transportation, insurance, necessary medical costs, childcare, and minimum debt payments. Then temporarily remove expenses you could stop if your income disappeared, including restaurant meals, entertainment, vacations, non-essential shopping, and subscriptions you could cancel. Suppose your essential expenses total $2,500 per month. Multiply $2,500 by 3, and your 3-month target is $7,500. Multiply it by 6, and your 6-month target is $15,000. You now have a range. $7,500 is your minimum goal, while $15,000 provides greater protection. Your number may be higher or lower. What matters is calculating it from your real essential expenses instead of copying somebody else's target. If that final number feels intimidating, do not treat it as one enormous goal. Build your emergency fund in 4 stages. Stage 1 is a $1,000 starter fund. This will not cover every possible emergency, but it can absorb many smaller problems without forcing you to reach immediately for a credit card. Stage 2 is 1 full month of essential expenses. This creates meaningful breathing room and gives you time to respond when income or expenses suddenly change. Stage 3 is 3 months of essential expenses. This is your minimum fully established emergency fund and an important financial milestone. Stage 4 is 6 months. This provides stronger protection for households with greater income uncertainty or anyone who wants a larger margin of safety. Treat each stage as an achievement. Do not wait until you reach 6 months before recognizing your progress. If you have high-interest credit card debt, begin by building the starter fund. Then focus aggressively on the expensive debt while continuing to make smaller, consistent emergency fund contributions. After the high-interest debt is controlled, accelerate your savings toward the 3 to 6 month target. Where will the money come from? Begin with windfalls such as tax refunds, bonuses, rebates, and cash gifts. Sending even part of a windfall directly into your emergency fund can move you through an entire stage at once. Next, examine recurring bills. Cancel subscriptions you no longer use. Compare insurance rates. Review your phone and internet plans. Redirect the money you save immediately into your emergency fund. Otherwise, it may quietly disappear into everyday spending. You can also place monthly limits on flexible categories such as restaurant meals, entertainment, and shopping. At the end of the month, transfer whatever remains into savings. Additional income from overtime, a temporary side job, or selling items you no longer use can accelerate your progress. But you do not need a dramatic income increase to begin. Small, repeated contributions still build real security. The most effective way to remain consistent is to automate the process. Open a separate savings account and schedule an automatic transfer for the day you receive each paycheck. Pay your emergency fund before the money becomes available for unnecessary spending. Start with an amount you can sustain. Whether that is $25, $100, or $300 per paycheck, consistency matters more than beginning with a perfect number. Whenever you receive a raise, finish paying off a debt, or reduce a monthly bill, increase the automatic transfer. For example, if you finish a $300 monthly car payment, redirect that same $300 into your emergency fund. Your budget is already accustomed to living without it. Where should you keep this money? An emergency fund should be safe, separate, and easily accessible. It should not be invested in stocks, cryptocurrency, or anything that could lose significant value when you need the money. It should not be invested in stocks, cryptocurrency, or anything that could lose significant value when you need the money. A high-yield savings account at an FDIC-insured bank or a federally insured credit union is usually a suitable choice. It can earn interest while remaining accessible when a genuine emergency occurs. Keeping the account separate from everyday checking can reduce the temptation to spend it. But do not make the money so difficult to access that it cannot help you when needed. Once you reach your target, stop treating the emergency fund as a constantly growing investment account. Review the amount once or twice a year and adjust it after major changes such as moving, getting married, having a child, or experiencing a significant increase in essential expenses. If you use the fund for a real emergency, rebuilding it becomes a financial priority. After the fund is complete, redirect the automatic contribution toward your next goal, perhaps retirement, investing, buying a home, or paying down other debt. That is how an emergency fund changes your financial life. It does not make you wealthy by itself, but it protects your wealth building plan from being destroyed by the next unexpected expense. Here is the complete framework. Calculate your essential monthly expenses. Decide whether your risk level calls for 3 months or 6. Build the fund in stages: $1,000, 1 month, 3 months, and then 6 months if needed. Automate every contribution and keep the money safe, separate, and accessible. Now calculate your own target. Are you aiming for 3 months or 6 months? Tell me in the comments and include the first milestone you are working toward. In the next episode, we'll cover how to begin investing with your first $100 without making the process complicated. If this video helped you, like, comment, share, and subscribe to Wealth Compass. Navigate. Invest. Grow. Build lasting wealth. See you in the next episode.